विल स्टार्ट टुडे सेशन. हेलो तुषार, आदित्य. Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have completed some exercises, or we have completed OSI 7-layer model. So I want to ask some questions from that. So the first question I want to ask, that what is the responsibility of physical layer? Yes, Aditya, waiting for your answer.
So physical layer actually is responsible for the connection between the receiver and sender, and it is also you work so that the message which we are sending go without any interruption.
Okay, so by the way, where are the other students? Almost 24, 25 students are there in batch, in this batch. I think so. They are not attending today. Okay, so the physical layer, if you see, its responsibilities are first to convert your digital data into a signal form. That is its first duty. Then second duty, the format should be same. Whatever the transmission medium will be there, he will convert in that form, and it will be responsible for the transmission of bit by bit. So every bit should be sent to the other end, or device B. So that is the responsibility of physical layer. What is the responsibility of presentation layer? Aditya, Anuj, Anuj, Bipin, presentation layer, delivering the data. Devansh, encryption, decryption, and compression. Okay, yes. So mainly, and the translation is also the one of the responsibility of your presentation layer. So it's the duty of presentation layer that it translates the message in a proper format which can be transmitted over a transmission media. So that is the also responsibility of your presentation layer. What is the responsibility of network layer? Yes, Mansi, what is the responsibility of network layer? Transfer of packets, okay. Moving the data in packets. Okay, that is the one of the responsibility. And routing. Yes, okay. Then if routing is the responsibility of network layer, so what is the responsibility of transport layer? Translate the logical address into physical address. Fragments. Okay. And logical addressing is the responsibility. Data link layer is having the responsibility of adding MAC address or physical address. So these are the various responsibilities of different layers. So you should understand, because this topic is going to ask in the next semester also. So you are going to learn this topic again. So today we are going to complete our digital modulation. This is the first technique which we are going to study, that is known as digital modulation. And these there are divided in three categories: ASK, FSK, and PSK. So here the digital data will be transferred in form of analog. So we can't transmit the digital data for a longer distance because of its frequency component. So if you are selecting a digital signal, then the frequency is very high. So if frequency is very high, it will take a higher bandwidth to transmit from one place to another place. So for that purpose, we have selected one of the modulation which can convert your analog signal into a digital signal into a analog signal. So for that purpose, we are having three modulation techniques: ASK, FSK, and PSK. So apart from that, we are having further more types of digital modulation like BPSK, QPSK, quadrature phase shift keying. So these are the different furthermore extension of digital modulation. So if you are seeing in satellite communication, we are using QPSK, quadrature phase shift keyings. It is a sub part of PSK only. So here we are going to learn only the basic shift keying techniques, but it is used in the various communication fields. So before starting the next session, if you have seen, if you have covered the previous session, then I have shared 4 videos. Out of those 4 videos, I have asked some questions. So from the first video, I have asked a question that how many functions are there on the board. So we are having a kit. So if you see this video, have you seen this video? Yes or no? Okay. So by today, you have to complete those things. So you have to see that video, and then we will take your question and answers in the next session. So today I will not ask any question from this part. So I will skip those 2 slides. So we will start with this. So digital to analog conversion. So our first task is to convert a signal from digital form to analog form. Till now we have studied analog to digital conversions in PCM and delta modulation. So in pulse code modulation, what we have did, we have converted the analog signal into a digital signal by applying filtering. So what are the various blocks in pulse code modulation in the last experiment? What are the 4 blocks we have studied in pulse code modulation? First one is
Sampling.
okay. So either we can start with filtering, or you can remove the first part filtering, or the second block will be always sampling, then sampling after quantization, then encoding. So we are having four blocks. First one is filtering, second one is sampling, third one is quantization, and fourth one is encoding. So what is the function of sampling? Sampling is not filtering. Okay, so to convert analog into a digital form, Mansi, that is the full process of PCM. It converts the analog signal into a digital form. So the sampling means discretization in time domain. When you want to discretize the signal in time domain, you are applying sampling. So you will get a output like a PAM, pulse amplitude modulation, modulated output. Then in quantization, you will discretize the number of samples in amplitude domain. So the number of samples in amplitude, you will fix it. So that is known as quantization. Then every level will be encoded by some bits, some packets of bits. So that is known as encoding. So we are having these four blocks there. So here we are going to study the digital to analog conversion, where we are going to convert a digital signal into an analog form. So here we are going to cover various topics. So first we will discuss the aspect of digital to analog conversion. Second, today we are going to complete amplitude shift keying. In the next labs, we are going to cover frequency shift keying and phase shift keying and quadrature amplitude modulation. So quadrature amplitude modulation is a mixed version of amplitude shift keying and phase shift keying. So if you mix together these two modulation techniques, then it will become a quadrature amplitude modulation. So first thing, the digital to analog converter, why it is required and how you can do it. So the digital signal cannot travel a longer distance. So to send that digital signal for a longer distance, we need a very high frequency signal. So there is a relationship between height of antenna and the frequency, that is given by c by lambda, where c is the speed of light. So if your frequency is small, your wavelength is going to increase. If your frequency is high, your wavelength is going to decrease. As your frequency decreases, the height of antenna should increase. So it is not possible to implement a antenna which is having a height of few kilometers. So that for that purpose, we are sending those signal with a high, very high frequency signals, or we can superimpose these characteristics on a carrier signal, and the carrier signal is having a very high frequency. So here what we do, we change the characteristics of your digital signal, which is your data signal. So we are having three characteristics. So first one is amplitude, second one is phase, third one is frequency. So these three characteristics of analog signal or carrier signal is changed in accordance with your digital signal. So what we will do, the analog signal carrier characteristics will change with your data signal. So if your amplitude of your carrier signal is going to change with your data signal, then it is known as ASK. If your characteristics of your carrier signal change, if your phase of your carrier signal change with the data signal, digital data signal, then it is known as PSK. If the frequency of your carrier signal change or change with accordance to the data signal, then it is known as FSK. So these three modulation techniques are there. So we are just focused on amplitude shift keying here. So we are having a digital data 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1. So it can be pulse code modulated output also. So you are having a PCM output. Now for sending on a link, we need a modulator. So this can be ASK, FSK or PSK. Then the signal, this digital data signal will be converted into analog signal, and it will send over a transmission link. So this transmission link may be a optical fiber, or it may be a twisted cable, or it may be a coaxial cable. Then again we have a demodulator here, which will convert this analog signal into a digital format, so which is opposite of ASK, and we will able to receive the data at the receiver end. So in this way your data is transmitting from sender to receiver place. So there are three types of digital to analog conversions are there, or three types of modulation techniques are there. First one is ASK, that is named as that is abbreviated as amplitude shift keying. Second one is FSK, that is abbreviated as frequency shift keying. Third one is PSK, that is abbreviated as phase shift keying. If you combine amplitude shift keying and phase shift keying, it will come up with the solution of quadrature amplitude modulation. So QAM will be there. So this is one of the most popular technique right now, which is used to convert a digital to analog signals and transmit for a longer distance. So every technique can be used to transmit the data for a longer distance. So say for example satellite communication. So the distance between a satellite and the Earth is very huge. So it's around 36,000 kilometers, but they are able to communicate. So there we are using these types of techniques. Now we are having a formula, so we will define that formula and then we will move further. So here some symbols are there. So first symbol is N, that is defined by bit rate, and bit rate can be defined as the number of bits per second. So we have already seen what is bit rate. Just I will go through it quickly and we will move further. So this is the duration of 1 second, and number of bits transmitted here. If you see count, this is first bit, this is second bit, this is third bit, this is fourth bit, this is fifth bit, sixth, seventh bit, eighth bit, and 9 bits. So total 9 bits are sending from the sender side. So the total bit rate, or n, can be defined as 9 bits per second, 9 bps. The short form of bits per second is bps. So in this way you can define the bit rate. Second thing is baud or baud rate. So baud rate is the number of signal elements per second, and that is defined by n. So the baud rate may be equal to the bit per rate, or it will be less than your bit rate. So the formula for baud rate can be defined as S equals to N divided by R. That will be number of bauds per second. So where R is the number of data bits per signal element. So R defines means how many number of levels during that time. So here, if we have taken example, number of samples is only one. So either you can go for that purpose also. So you can find 0, 0, 0, 1. If you have a different number, different level, you can assign 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. So number of levels will be 2. So R will be 2. So there the baud rate will change. So in this way you can define the baud rate. So we are having an example here. The analog signals carries 4 bits per signal element. So every element, so say here, this is the first signal element. So it carries 4 bits. So that means it may be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. So 4 bit will be there. So that is transmitting those 4 bits. If 1000 signal elements are sent per second, so R is 4 and we are sending 1000 per second, then we want to find n. So we can use this formula for finding n. So n will be equals to S multiplied by R, and we are get the value of S. So S will be a value of n. So n will be 4000 bits per second. So you can send the data at the speed of 4000 bits per second, or you have generated a data of 4000 bits per second if your signal carry the 4 bits per signal. If it is 1 bit per signal, the baud rate will be same as bit rate, so it will be not changing. So second example, if you take an analog signal has a bit rate of 8000 bits per second. So here we have given the value of n, and the baud rate is 1000 baud. So how many data elements carried by each signal element? So here we have to find the value of R, and how many levels are there, or we can represent the signal using different number of levels. So L can be defined by log of 2 of R. So here you can calculate R will be equals to n by s, so 8 bits per baud, and R will be calculated as, or L number of levels will be calculated as 2 raised to power R. So 256 level will be there. If 8 bits per baud is there, that means total number of levels you can represent 256. So every signal element is represented by 8 levels. So if you are having 8 levels, so starting level will be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and ending level will be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So total 256. So this will be 0, and this will be 255. So total 256 levels will be there. So if you increase the number of levels or number of bits, your bit rate will be always higher, or it will be multiplied by your baud rate. So that is one of the things you should know. Now we move to the amplitude shift key. Up to this, if you are having any doubt. यहाँ तक किसी को कोई डाउट हो तो we will hold for 2 minutes and then we will move further. If you are having any doubts, you can type in chat window. If you are having any doubts, you can type in chat window or you can speak up. Manav, Devansh, Manav, hello. If you are having any doubt, you can ask. Okay, so we move to ASK. So sometime ASK is also called as OK, on off keying. So here you can see we are having a analog signal as our output. So if you see the digital signal, it is having 4 levels: 0, 1, 2, and 3. So we are having two digital input signal. By combining together, we have formed this signal. So 0, 0 will be representing 0, 0, 1 represent 1, 1, 0 will represent 2, and 1, 1 will represent 3. So every digital level in this amplitude shift keying will be represented by the different amplitudes of carrier. So the frequency and phase of carrier will remain constant. So in the frequency shift keying, the, the phase and the frequency of the carrier signal will remain same, and the amplitude of your carrier signal changes in accordance to your digital data. So if it is 0, the amplitude will change 0. If it is 1, the amplitude will change with some value. So say for example, if you are having a carrier signal whose amplitude is 5 volts, so he may do like this. For representing 0, it can come with 1 volt signal. If it is 2 volt, if it is 1, then it represents with 2 volt. If it is 3, it represents with 3.5 volts, and if it is 4, it represents with 5 volts. So these many amplitudes are there. So in this figure, if you see the blue lines, there are two blue lines. So these two blue lines combine together to form a single digit. So either it can be 0, it can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3. And the yellow lines or the yellow graph is showing the ASK signal, amplitude shift keying signal. So the amplitude shift keying, if you see, there are various levels for 0, 1, 2, and 3. So here, what they did for the 0, they have represented with the maximum signal or maximum amplitude of the signal. For the 1, lower than that. For 2, it will be lower than that, and for 3, lower than that. So it may be a uniform distribution for 0, 1, 2, 3, or it may be non-uniform distribution. So it depends upon the user how it selects this technique. So now we move to the here we have selected a double digit code. Now we see for the single digit code only. So if you are having a single digit code, so it will be either 0 or 1 only. So for 0, the level will be different, and for 1, the level will be different. So here, if you are having 1 value, then you can see here the amplitude is small, and the frequency, if you see the frequency of your signal, which is represented by yellow, it is same for 0 or 1. Just there is a difference in amplitude. So that's why it is known as amplitude shift keying, because the amplitude of your signal is going to change. Otherwise, the frequency and phase will going to remain same in this type of modulation. So the information signal, which is a digital signal, which is represented by blue color. So if it is 1, the amplitude here, if you see, it is around 1 volt, or you can say the 1 square. And if your signal is 0, it is 3 squares. 3 squares multiplied by the factor which you have selected here there. So that is about the amplitude shift keying. So there is another keying also, that is known as OK, on off keying. So what is the difference between on off keying and ASK? Here if you see, there is the frequency for 1 volt also, or 0 for there is some volt, or some amplitude is there. But in on off keying, for one of the levels your signal will be 0, and for one of the levels your signal will be there. So in on off keying, what will be there, your carrier signal will be transmitted when your data is 1 or 0. So either of the case, if it is data is transmitted for 1, then for 0 it will be 0. If you are sending the carrier signal for 0, then for 1 your uh, ASK signal will be 0. So I will show you how it should be represented. So we are having a task on that also. So we will going to see that. So now we are going to discuss about the bandwidth of a amplitude shift keying. So the bandwidth of a amplitude shift keying can be given by this formula: 1 plus D multiplied by S, where D is your modulation index. So it will be always between 0 to 1. So if you are having a 1, that means if you are having a 1, that is a perfect modulation. If it is less than 1 or zero point 0.5, it will be under modulation. So you don't bother about this value. This will be always less than 1. So that's why you are not going to get the same value as the transmission side. So the whatever the carrier signal you have selected, the amplitude of your ASK signal will be always smaller than that. So that will be defined by D. So D will be the if you want to calculate the D, you can calculate using the carrier signal EC divided by the amplitude of carrier signal divided by the amplitude of ASK. So it can be 1 or it can be less than 1. So either the value of EC or EM by EC, it will be equal to 1. So if you see, if I define it, it will be like this: amplitude of ASK divided by amplitude of carrier. So this will be the formula. So if you using filters, so those filters are going to be passive filters. Those are not an active filters. So the amplitude shift keying will be always smaller than the carrier signal. So if it is same, then you will get the perfect modulation. That will be the value 1. And if it is 0, that means there is no modulation has occurred in your operations. And in between 0 to 1, the modulation will be there. If it is a zero point 0.5, greater than zero point 0.5, then the modulation will be good. So it should be greater than 0.5. So in this way, you can define the bandwidth of your ASK signal. Now, this is an example of OOK. So OOK is also known as binary amplitude shift keying. So here you can see for 0, we are not sending any information. So the signal is blank for the 0, and for 1, we are sending that carrier signal. So this can be easily achieved by multiplying two signals. If you are going to multiply your carrier signal with your digital data, then you can easily achieve this signal. So multiplication is a normal block diagram which you can use to generate binary amplitude shift keying. So if you are able to design a multiplier circuit, then you can easily achieve this circuit. Then there is another circuit which can be used to implement binary amplitude shift keying, which you are going to learn here. That is implement using BJT, bipolar junction transistors. So you can use BJT to implement ASK. So we are going to learn that thing. So this is the block diagram of amplitude shift keying. So here we are having three signals. So the first signal is your digital signal, which is your data information. If you are having any doubts, you can stop me anywhere. So just stop me there and you ask your doubts. So first one is your data signal. Second one is your carrier signal. So you can see here the frequency of carrier signal is very high. Then third signal is your modulated signal. If you multiply 1 with the anything, you will get the same thing. 1 multiplied by x will be x. So here in your output, if you see, wherever 1 is there, you are getting the same output. Whenever it is 0, you are getting 0 as the output. So in this way, you can generate the amplitude shift keying. So here the block diagram has been drawn. So for generating the carrier signal, we generally use a oscillator. So oscillator is a device which is oscillating between its oscillating at a center frequency, that is known as oscillation frequency. It is a normally a LC circuit. So it is also known as tank circuits, which is going to generate oscillation. So the best oscillator in this world is crystal oscillator, which is going to generate a particular oscillations and oscillation of frequency. Then we are going to use a PLL circuit, phase lock loop, which is going to multiply or divide your frequency. If you want to increase the frequency, you can use multiplier, or if you want to divide that or decrease the frequency, you can use divider block. So in this way, you are going to use oscillators. Now we are going to implement this multiplier circuit in multisim. So we will see that whether it is working or not. Okay, so the multiplier block or the product block is available under the sources. So if you click the sources, then go to the control function blocks, then here you can find the different blocks. So here you can see the divider block is there, and here you can see the multiplier block is there. So we have already used this multiplier block. So here we are going to generate AFK signal using this multiplier block. So the oscillator should be there, and we should generate a signal which is like this, some digital signal. So first we will select a multiplier, then we have to generate a oscillation frequency. So we will select a signal source. So we will select a AC voltage, and we want to generate a digital signal. So for that, right now we are using a we are going to use a pulse voltage. So it is always 0 and 1, or the step size will be same. The period for on and off we will change here. Just we don't want to change, or we want to generate a different zeros that can be generated using logic analyzer here, but we are not using that. So we will place the ground. Now we will connect both the inputs, and output we are going to measure at oscilloscope. So we are having three signals, so we will select a four channel oscilloscope so we can measure all the signals together. So this is your four channel oscilloscope. So first we will measure both the inputs, and then we are going to measure the output. So for measuring the both the inputs, we will change the color of one of the inputs so that we can recognize which signal is that. So here we change the net color. So we will replace by red color. Now both the nets are represented by different colors. So here in your oscilloscope, you can see both the signals with different colors. So sine wave or your carrier signal will be represented by green color, and your pulse waveform will be represented by red color. So it's a four channel. So you need to select. So this arrow will show you which channel is selected right now. So channel A is selected. So I will change its amplitude and it will make it 1. Now channel B I will select. I will make it 1 volt, and I will shift it down so I can see that signal properly. And I will move first signal little bit up so that I can distinguish both the signal properly. Okay. Now both the signals we can see properly. Now if you see the frequency of both the signal, it is same. So normally what will happen, the frequency of the carrier signal is much more higher than the frequency of your digital signal. So what we will do, we will increase its frequency 100 times than a data signal. So we will replace by 100. Now, if you see this, the second signal, if second amplitude is -1 volt. So if you are multiplying something with -1, then you will get the same thing. If you multiply x with -1, you will get -x. But here we want 0 where the digital signal is 0. So we should multiply that signal with 0 value. So what we will do, we will change the level of -1, or we will replace the -1 with 0. So the one value for higher value, or for the on period the value will be 1, for the off period the value will be 0. So that is our next step. Now again we are going to measure those signals. So Now if you see, the density of your or the frequency of your carrier signal is very high. Now we will multiply this signal and we will see what is going to happen, whether it is able to generate ASK signal or not. So we will add the third signal or output signal in the third port, and we will change the color of NAT so we can recognize which is that signal. So here we will replace that signal by some blue color. So here it is been replaced by blue color. Now we will run and we will see the waveform. So now you can see channel number C. I will increase the amplitude so you can see properly. So I will remove the carrier signal from this part so this will not disturb you anything. Okay, so now carrier part has been removed. Now if you observe this signal, the frequency of this blue color or ASK signal is similar as carrier signal. So just I will enable you and show you the signal is same. So here if you monitor the frequency, there is a shift difference between phase, but the amplitude will remain same for the first signal. So the frequency and phase will remain same in ASK signal. So this is the one of the way you can generate the ASK signal. So this is also known as on-off key. Now we have used a block diagram, but we need to implement a circuit which can be used to convert a digital signal into an analog form. Now we just don't use only multiply. We are having a phase shifter circuit which will make your phase similar to your oscillator frequency or oscillator signal or carrier signal. So we are having a third quiz here. We are having a bandwidth of 100 kilohertz. So available bandwidth with us is 100 kilohertz, which spans from 200 to 300 kilohertz. So the bandwidth is starting from 200 and it's ending at 300 kilohertz. So bandwidth will be 300 minus 200. So you will get a 100 kilohertz bandwidth. What are the carrier frequency and the bit rate if you modulate our data by ASK with D equal to 1? So here we are going for the 100% modulation. That means D is equal to 1. So we have to find the bit rate, and FC, the carrier frequency is 250 kilohertz. So how we have selected 250 kilohertz? It should be located at the center of the bandwidth. So if you draw a bandwidth, you represent the bandwidth is this way everywhere. If you see in any book, they will represent the bandwidth like this. So this is 100K and this is 200K. So upper frequency minus lower frequency is your 100K. So 200 minus 100 is your 100K. So here the center and the signal will be located at the center of this bandwidth. So that will be at 250. So here they have defined 250. And the bandwidth formula we have already seen. The bandwidth is given by 1 plus d multiplied by s. So d is given here, s is given here. So we can easily calculate the bandwidth. So bandwidth is given by 1 plus d multiplied by s. So s you can calculate n multiplied by 1 by r. So 2 multiplied by n, because r is 1 here. D is also 1 here. So d 1 plus d will be 2, n multiplied by 1 divided by r. So r is 1 here. So r you can remove. So 2 multiplied by n. So 2 multiplied by n is your 100 kilohertz, because bandwidth here given that it is 100 kilohertz. So n will be 200 kilohertz divided by 2. So that will be 50 kilohertz. But always, if you see, the bit rate will be given in bits, bps, bits per second. So we have to convert into bits per second. So that will be given by 50 bits per second. So kbps, kilobits per second, because hertz will be converted into bits per second. So number of bits sent can in a 1 second in this scenario will be 50 kilobits. So here the figure number 5, we are having two center frequency 225 and 275, and the bandwidth if you see 50 kilohertz. So we have two signals which are situated at 225 and 275 in this figure, and the bandwidth of two signals will be 50 kilohertz and 50 kilohertz. So in this data communication, normally we use full duplex signals. So if you are using full duplex signals, we are having three type of system. First one is simplex, second one is half duplex, and third one is full duplex. So if it is a simplex system, you can communicate in one way only. So you can just either call, or you can hear, or you can send your voice. In the half duplex system, you can communicate simultaneously. So if you are sending the data, you have to stop it. You can't receive anything. In the full duplex system, you can send also, you can receive also. So if you want a full duplex system, what we need to do, you have to provide two different channels. From one channel you can transmit, and from the other channel you can receive. So here that example, you need a two channel. For first channel, you from here you are transmitting at 225 kilohertz, and you are receiving at the 275 kilohertz, or you can vice versa. You can transmit at a 275 kilohertz, and you can receive at 225 kilohertz. So you required 100 kilohertz for a full duplex system. If it is a simplex system or half duplex system, you required only a bandwidth of 50 kilohertz, because you will transmit at 225 kilohertz, and you will receive at 255 kilohertz. Other, this channel is not required there, because you don't want to communicate simultaneously. You don't want to communicate simultaneously. You want to communicate sequentially. If one is speaking, you will stop there, like a walkie-talkie. If you press the button, you can communicate with the other people, and you stop there. Once he will call it's over, then he can speak. So in that kind of technique, we require the lesser bandwidth, but the communication will be one way only. So either you can transmit, or the other people can transmit. So either you have to listen out, or you have to wait for the other people to make your channel free. Otherwise, you can't transmit. So whatever you want to send, you have to wait until he completes his message. So in this way, we are having a different bandwidth required for the different kinds of system, for simplex, half duplex, and full duplex system. So now, if you are having any doubts up to this, so we will have a break of 2 minutes, and then we will start. So you can ask the questions. Aditya, Devansh, Mansi, Nikita, if you are having any doubts. Smith, Tushar, Vidhi, Yash, Yashank, Yashraj, up to this, if you are having any doubt. Now we are having some coursework where you can understand what are the different signals you can generate using some templates. So here we are having a one interface where you can generate ASK, FSK and PSK signals and OOK signals. So for doing that, you have to open the first plane. Then here you have to create your account. So I have already created, just I will log in on that. So here you are having a option of creating your sign in account. So just click there. So if you are a over there, new visitor, so you will go for the create account, and if you have already created your account, you can sign in there. So once you log in here, we are having different materials. So you can start the signal and modulation. So first one is periodic signal. So we have already covered what is a periodic signal. Periodic signal are those signals which repeat itself after a regular interval of time. That is known as periodic signal. So here is an example of a periodic signal, that is a sinusoidal waveform. So in this sinusoidal waveform, if you see after every one cycle, it is repeating itself. So this is known as a periodic signal. And the frequency and t time period is given by this formula. So f will be given by 1 by t and t will be given by 1 by f. So here an example of self-assessment activity will be there, where a sine waveform has a frequency of 25,000 hertz or 25 kilohertz. What will be its period? So its period will be 1 upon 25 kilohertz. So here you can, once you calculate it, you can see the answer also. So it will be 40 microseconds. Same way, some exploratory questions will be there. So here you can demonstrate, if you increase the frequency, what is going to happen. If you increase the amplitude, the maximum amplitude will be here. And here it is going to show the phase. So if you change the phase, you can generate the phase over here. So now signal, instead of starting from 0, it is starting from the negative value. If you put the phase 0, then you can see the signal is starting from always 0. So if you select 45 degree, then you can see the signal has been started from the 1 by 4th part of your phase 0 signal. If you select 90 degree, It will be half of the signals. If you select minus 60 degree, minus 90 degree, it will be cosine signal. So here, this example is given there for the understanding of frequency, amplitude, and phase. So you can learn here these three parameters of your signal. So these three parameters are very important of an analog signal because these parameters are going to change in accordance to your digital signal. So that's why it is given there. Now second is non-periodic signal. Non-periodic signals are those signals which doesn't repeat itself after a regular interval of time. आदित्य, तुषार,
यस सर।
कोई डाउट नहीं है?
सर वो मल्टी सिम वाले ऑपरेशन समझ में नहीं आ रहे।
कौन सा, जो अभी करवाया कि पहले वाला?
हाँ नहीं, मतलब अभी से पहले जो मल्टी सिम में वो मल्टीप्लेक्सर वाला कराया था ना, वो मतलब
मल्टीप्लेक्स,
वेवफॉर्म
मल्टीप्लायर।
मल्टीप्लायर। यस सर।
ओके, वो वापस करवा दूंगा। और बाकी सब क्लियर है?
एंड वन बेसिक क्वेश्चन सर, एक्चुअली मतलब जनरेट करने क्यों है ये सिग्नल?
ये सिग्नल्स इसलिए जनरेट करने क्योंकि कोई भी सिग्नल जिसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी कम है वो बहुत डिस्टेंस तक ट्रैवल नहीं कर सकती। तो जो हाइट, और अगर ट्रैवल करवाना है तो आपको हाइट ऑफ एंटीना बहुत ज़्यादा हाई चाहिए। तो वो लैम्डा बाई 4 होता है एंटीना की जो हाइट होती है। अगर आपकी वेवलेंथ से निकालोगे तो लैम्डा बाई 4 से आप निकाल सकते हो कि लैम्डा बाई 4 हाइट होनी चाहिए एंटीना की। तो अगर आप बहुत लो फ्रीक्वेंसी की निकालोगे तो आपकी जो हाइट ऑफ एंटीना है वो किलोमीटर्स में होगी। तो आप 5 किलोमीटर का एंटीना बना सकते हो।
नो सर।
तो हमको क्या चाहिए कि हाई फ्रीक्वेंसी पे भेजना है। अब हाई फ्रीक्वेंसी पे भेजना है आपको सिग्नल, तो आपको मॉड्यूलेशन करना पड़ेगा। इट इज सेम, समथिंग सेम एज यू कांट ट्रेवल फ्रॉम राजकोट टू अहमदाबाद बाई वॉक। तो अगर आपको कोई बोले कि यहाँ से अहमदाबाद चल के जाओ तो नहीं जा सकते, आपको एक कैरियर चाहिए। तो कैरियर बस होगा, ट्रेन होगा, और इट कैन बी सम फ्लाइट। So these are known as carrier signals. So here the carrier signal are having a very high frequency, which can carry your signal to a longer distances. Because if you see the distance between the Earth station and your space station is around 36,000 kilometers. तो 36,000 किलोमीटर तक हमको सिग्नल ट्रांसमिट करना है। तो उसके लिए उतना लंबा एंटीना चाहिए कि वो ट्रांसमिट कर सके। तो उतना लंबा एंटीना नहीं बनाना मेरे को एंटीना छोटा बनाना है। तो मैं क्या करूँगा, उसको बहुत हाई फ्रीक्वेंसी पे मॉड्यूलेट करके भेज दूंगा, तो वो सिग्नल बहुत दूर तक ट्रेवल कर पाएगा। सो दैट्स व्हाई वी नीड दिस काइंड्स ऑफ टेक्निक। इफ यू आर हैविंग एनी डाउट यू कैन आस्क जस्ट। ओके, इसमें कोई हेजिटेट करने की जरूरत भी नहीं है क्योंकि ये आपको ही पढ़ना है, मेरे को पढ़ के कोई फायदा नहीं होने वाला। ओके, सो यू नीड टू लर्न दोस थिंग्स कि क्यों चाहिए, वो आपको क्वेश्चन आना ही चाहिए। तो से फॉर जस्ट मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ। So here an example here. According to the problem, the frequency wave transmitted is 15 kilohertz. So the wavelength can be calculated as C by Vm. So Vm is frequency, C by F. So the wavelength is 1 upon 5 into 10 raised to power 5 m or meters. And the size of antenna required is lambda by 4. So this is around 5 kilometers. So it is not possible. So 15 kilohertz is very small signal, or you can say very low frequency signal. So what we need to do, we need to use a very high frequency signal which will carry this information. So in analog also we are having some modulation, in digital also we are having some modulation. So first we will convert our analog signal into a digital signal that you can convert using PCM or delta modulation. So once you convert the digital signal, then your error will be less. Why we have converted an analog signal into digital signal? Because if you directly send that analog signal from one place to another place or for a longer distances, then there is a lots of chances that your message has been corrupted from one place to another when it is reaching at the receiver side. So that's why for that purpose what we have converted into a digital signal. So you can convert into a digital signal using pulse code modulation or delta modulation. Once it is converted into that, then what we will do, then again there is a problem. We can't send that digital signal directly because again that digital signal frequency is very less. So we need to send that data on some carrier. So we use different modulation, that is ASK, FSK, and PSK. Or currently, if you see, QPSK is very much popular. Quadrature phase shifting is very much popular. So we are using those techniques to send the data for a longer distances. So that's why this is used. So here, that is the reason why we are converting the signal the other form. So is it question is clear or you are having any doubts?
clear, sir.
तो पहले एनालॉग को डिजिटल में कन्वर्ट करेंगे क्योंकि एरर कम करना है, फिर डिजिटल को फिर से एनालॉग में कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं क्योंकि उसको दूर तक भेजना है। ठीक है, एनालॉग को डायरेक्टली भेज सकते थे, बट एनालॉग के साथ प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि अगर आप एम्पलीट्यूड मॉड्यूलेशन करते हो, क्योंकि एम्पलीट्यूड मॉड्यूलेशन ही एक इफेक्टिव वे है जो हम सेंड कर सकते हैं, because the bandwidth required for amplitude modulation is a reasonable bandwidth which you can occupy in your whole spectrum. If you are using a frequency modulation, then it is very difficult to occupy that signal in your spectrum. So that's why we go for amplitude modulation. But in amplitude modulation, there is a lots of noise or it will interference with noise and the message will be corrupted. So that's why we are not using directly, we are not using amplitude modulation. We have selected to go with digital modulation. So first we convert into digital, then we again convert into analog, and we will send using satellite communication. So second thing is non-periodic signal. So the non-periodic signal is a signal which doesn't repeat itself after a regular interval of time. So that is known as non-periodic signal. So digital signal have modulations. So here they will introduce ASK, FSK, and PSK. So this is the whole spectrum, or you can say the different frequency range and different uses of that frequency range. So where you can use the radio waves, where you can use the microwave, where you can use the infrared. So the wavelength and the frequency is given here, and the size is given here. So you can use the bandwidth there, and there is an interactive version also. So if you slide here, you will see here the various example where it is going to use. So I have selected a very low frequency. So this is not much used for the communication purpose. So this low frequency is always not used for the communication purpose, because the building a efficient antenna for the long wave will involve 10 to 100 kilometers. So if you are using a low frequency, that means the height of antenna is going to increase. So you need to implement an antenna whose height is 100 kilometers. That is not feasible. So, but this wavelength is used in the sea waters, because sea water, these signals can travel in the sea waters easily. So there we are using this frequency. So if you want to see what are the different uses of different frequency, you just select here, and you can select that range, and you can get where it is used and why it is used. So medium frequency, high frequency, VHF, very high frequency, ultra high frequency. So extremely high frequency, you can see where it is used. So extremely high frequency is in gigahertz, which is used for satellite communication. So here you can see the various frequency range and why this frequency range is used. So this question is answer this slide is answering your question why it is going to use at that frequency. Then what you have to do, you have to go for ASK. So just you can see the different details of ASK we have already covered here. Now what we will go for the demonstration of ASK. So you just click on PSK, phase shift key. You don't need not to study PSK and FSK. Just go here, and there is an interactive version here. So click on interactive version, and here in your slide also we have just directly provided that interactive version link, so you can directly go through this link also. Once you go to this interactive version, what you have to do, say for example, Mansi, what's your enrollment number? 8, last 3 digit. 008. So if I convert into hexadecimal numbers, 0 will be 0000, 0000, and 8 will be 1000. So this will be the hexadecimal representation of Mansi enrollment number. So in this tool, you can only enter 8 digits. You can able to enter only 8 digits. So here you can just maximum you can number of bits you can enter, that is 8 10 digits. So here it is 12. So what you can do, you can remove 2 digits from the left hand side. So the number will be 0000001000. So this will be your number. So I have written here. So just take that number. So say for example, I want to send the last 3 digits of Mansi enrollment number. So what I will do, I will just type here is her enrollment number. So it will be 00. So 8 digits will be there. Now you can select which modulation scheme you want. So either you can select for OK or ASK. So you can go for you have to go for both. So first I will select OK. Then the carrier frequency. I want to use this. I want to send this data using satellite communication. So already if you see here, the satellite communication frequency is lies in very high frequency. It's lying in gigahertz. So the frequency should be very high. So I will select a very high frequency. Then just submit here. So you will see the digital code. So for that monthly enrollment number, so it will be 0000000100. So that will be the code. This will be your carrier signal, and this will be your transmitted signal. So you are going to transmit this signal. When you have receive this signal, you receive this analog signal, you convert it into the digital format, and you can use that data. So why we are using this? Just I will show you. If say for example noise has affected the signal, if you see this signal and noise will added here, noise will always add in its amplitude. So if it added here everywhere, so here noise will be added here. Now above this any voltage will be treated as 1, and below this it will be treated as 0, or wherever frequency this frequency is available. So this is your carrier frequency, that there you can understand that signal is present. So at the receiver side, you can easily remove your noise. So you just use that a filter whose cutoff frequency is little bit higher than this frequency, or use a band pass filter whose band frequency band lies or you use a notch filter whose frequency is FC. So its cutoff frequency is FC. When you pass this signal using this band pass filter, the output will be only this signal. So you will able to receive this signal. So it will be very easy to filter out the noise from this signal when it is a digital signal. But if it is an amplitude modulation signal, it will look like this. Just I will show you. So you will see here, this will be your amplitude signal. If you see here, the noise will be added here. Now there is no way to filter out this noise because the noise has already corrupted its amplitude. So whether you go for any filter, it will remove some noise, but some noise will be there in your signal. So due to which your signal will be distorted. So that's why we are not using amplitude modulation as a standard modulation technique for sending the data from one place to another place. So it is a just used for the radio communication if you are seeing AM thing. So here your task is to generate your last 10 digit last 10 bit number. So that has to type your last 3 digits of your enroll number and send the snapshot of ASK and OK. So if you see the difference in OK, the signal is 0 for the 0 bit. If you generate a ASK, you will have a small amplitude present over there. So the frequency of unmodulated carrier and ASK is remain same here. So that is the difference between ASK and OK. So have you understood difference between ASK and OK? OK. तो आपके एनरोलमेंट नंबर के हिसाब से यहाँ पर आपको जनरेट करके स्नैपशॉट्स भेजने हैं. सो दैट इज योर टास्क. So we will take another example. So Devansh, what's your enrollment number? Devansh 002. Anyone who is having a number 123 or greater than 100 number. Any of those students whose enroll number is last 3 digits is greater than 100. Tushar, Rohan, 069. Okay, I will take Tushar's numbers 069, 0000 6 0 1 1 0 9 1 0 0 1. So that will be his number. So we have to remove last two digits. Just make no spaces so that whatever you copy here, so this will be its digital code. So just type his digital code here and generate. So you will able to see that ASK and OS. Okay. So once you take the snapshot of this and you have to comment it on why the signal output signal ASK signal has been generated in this way. So here you can see the amplitude has changed. The amplitude of your carrier signal is changing. If you select PSK, FSK, you can see the frequency of your carrier signal has changed in your frequency shift keying. If you see PSK, the phase has been changed. So here where the data is changing, you can see Instead of starting from the bottom, it is started from the top. So the phase has been changed everywhere where the data is changing. From here it is 1 from 0, the phase has to change. From 0 to 1, the phase has been changed here. Here again phase has been changed. From 0 to 1, the phase has been changed. Whenever the data is changing, your phase is going to change. So in this way, these three modulation techniques are used. So you have to take the snapshot and you have to send it to me. So I will create a portal over a canvas where you can attach your snapshots. So now we'll move to the circuit diagrams. So here is an example where I have generated a code, and in this way you have to attach the snapshot. For ASK I have taken, you have to select for OK. So whatever carrier frequency you are selecting, say for example, if you are selecting a very high carrier frequency, you have to uh, put a remark over there which in which application this frequency band is going to use. So you have to use both the interactive sessions to define your applications. So now we are going to implement this multi-sim circuit. So this multi-sim circuit can be used as a OK generation signal. So OK is also referred as a ASK. So not a much difference between ASK and OAK. So this circuit you have already seen in the previous semester in digital electronics. Can you name this circuit? What this circuit is looks like? Anyone who can name this circuit? So you can see the circuit. Can anyone name this circuit? Where you have seen this circuit? Have you remember BJT as a switch application? We have studied that topic in the basic electronics, BJT as a switch. So this is the same circuit which we have used BJT as a switch in the previous semester. So just I will implement that circuit and I will show you ASK. So this is a circuit which is going to use to generate a OK signal. So this is nothing but it's a BJT as a switch. So say for example, here XFG1 where you have connected, this is the base voltage. Now if the base voltage, so we are having three terminal in our transistor: emitter, base and collector. So emitter where the arrow is there, base the flat surface, and the other terminal is known as collector. So here if you apply the voltage at base, if it is 0, the transistor is going to off. If it is 1, the transistor is going to become on. So if you see this example here, now if you place 0 here, it will behave like an open circuit. So your circuit will behave like this. So the transistor will behave like open circuit. And if you apply 1, so this is for case 0, when 0 volt you have applied at the base of your transistor. Now if you applied 1 or maximum 5 volt, it will behave like a short circuit. And we have measured the voltage across R2. So we are measuring the voltage here, P out. So here. So for the first case, if you see, the V out is connected to 0. So we will get 0. Now here, XFG2 came in the picture. So we have connected here, XFG2. Here also we have connected XFG2. Function generator 2. Now this function generator, what it will do, it will multiply. So now your transistor is on. So whatever voltage available at XFG2 or whatever the signal available at XFG2, that will be available here, XFG2. So you will get the carrier signal. So second, XFG2 represent the carrier signal, XFG1 represents your data signal. So if you see here, we will see all the waveform. So the pink line is your digital data. The blue line shows your carrier signal, and the yellow line shows your ASK signal. So in this way, these two signals are multiplying together and to form ASK signal. So how they are multiplying? We have multiplied the signal using on-off switch. So if it is on, this signal XFG2 signal is available at the output. If it is off, the path has been broken, so the signal is not available at the output. So it is very simple. These DC voltage are used to bias the circuit to make it in saturation or cutoff region. If it is a saturation region, then it will behave like a on. If it is a cutoff region, the transistor is in cutoff region, it will behave like a off. So in this way, you can generate the output of this circuit, or you can generate a ASK signal. So here we are going to see the multiplier circuit. So we are having a doubt on this. So if you see in this example, we have studied the block diagram. So this is the block diagram. So simply speaking, if you multiply the first two signals, so if you just going to multiply here, we are going to multiply first two signals. So here it is 1, and this is signal X. 1 multiplied by X, you will get X. So here in the output, you are getting X. 0 multiplied by X, you will get 0. Same way, 1 multiplied by X, you will get X. Same signal. 1 multiplied by X, you will get a same signal. So if you multiply your digital signal with your carrier signal, you will get a signal which is in form of ASK, amplitude shift keying signal you will get. So now we are using a multiplier block. So this multiplier block lies here in the sources, control function blocks, and multiplier. So this multiplier block is not a circuit diagram or something. It's just a block which can multiply two signals. It can be a digital signal, it can be analog signal, it can be some DC voltages. So in the previous lab, we have seen the use of multiplier. So you can just multiply two DC voltage. If you multiply 12 into 2, it will give you 24. So here just we use that. So there multiplier. Now what we need to do, we want to multiply the pulses. So the data is in form of digital, so it will be in form of pulses, 0 and 1. So we have taken a pulses here, and we have taken a sine waveform. Now the frequency of sine waveform, carrier waveform should be very high. So that's why I have selected the frequency 100 times greater than this digital data. So how I have calculated the frequency of this digital data, the period for digital data is 1 millisecond. So 1 upon t will be the frequency of this digital signal. So 1 upon 1 millisecond will be its frequency. So 1 upon 1 millisecond will be 1 kilohertz. So I have taken here 100 kilohertz. It will be 10 times higher than this, 100 times higher than this one. You can select 50 also. It is also fine. It doesn't mean, it's a demonstration purpose. So you can select anything. It should be higher than this one. That's it. Now, if you multiply these two signals, you will get the output signal. So here you can see the output signal is present. Whenever the input is 1 or the digital data is 1, you are getting the output. So here you can see the output is available for the period where the input is 1. So all the input, all the carrier is available at this period. Otherwise, your signal is 0 for other period where your signal is 0. So here you can use the block diagram to show the demonstrate or to demonstrate the operation of ASK. But whenever you are going to implement, so you have to use some active or passive elements, so like transistors, operational amplifier, resistors. So we have used that thing to implement OAK. So this is a very simple circuit which is used as OAK, but if you want to generate a ASK, you need a little bit complex circuits. We will have a voltage divider network also, so that it will generate some signal for the zero also. So in this way, you can generate the various things. So in today's task, what you have to do, once this session is over, so almost the session is over now. We have completed. We are having a small quiz, and we will close our session today's session. So first, in on off keying, the carrier signal is transmitted with a signal value of 1 and 0. It indicates zero, which what it indicates. So you have already seen the answer. So you can answer it at least.
No carrier.
So it will be no carrier. Second question. ASK modulator signal has a bandwidth same as the bandwidth of baseband signal, half the bandwidth of baseband signal, double the bandwidth of baseband signal, or none of the above. The bandwidth is given by B is equal to S multi. It's B, half of the bandwidth. It's same, the bandwidth of a baseband signal. So baseband signals means whatever digital data bandwidth signal required, that is same required in the modulator signal. So the same bandwidth required whatever signal you are transmitting or whatever signal you have generated in the digital format. So this is all about the ASK. So ASK is completed. If you are having any doubts, we will take your doubts.
Sir, I have one query.
Yes, Sushabul.
Sir, the course which you have recommended in Coursera contains all the concepts which you are explaining right now.
No, it's little bit different. Not the whole thing is same.
Okay, sir.
Actually, there is no course which contain all the contents what we are having in our course. So if it is some course was there, so we will offer that course. This course contains only few parts of our syllabus, so that you have to cover over there. So we are not going to teach here that part of your syllabus. So how many of you have enrolled in that course and they have started that course? So I will take the attendance and I will ask one by one. Ayush, where is Ayush today? Rohan,
Present,
you have
sir.
enrolled in that course or not? कोर्स में एनरोल कर लिया अभी कि बाकी है?
बाकी है सर.
So enroll it today. एनरोलमेंट करने में
Okay, sir.
क्या जा रहा है? एनरोल तो करो पहले. Then if you are having any doubts, because that person what he is there who is teaching this course, it is a Chinese person, so some pronunciation is having some issues with that, some students having issues with that. So if you are having any doubts, you can ask me. Bipin,
Yes, sir.
Manav,
Yes, sir.
Anuj,
Yes, sir. Present.
Riddhi,
Present, sir.
Vidhi,
Present, sir.
Yashraj,
Present, sir.
Yash,
Yes, sir.
Mansi,
Yes, sir.
Nikita,
Present, sir.
Nikita Dardi, she said. Manthan,
Present, sir.
Smith,
Present, sir.
Devansh,
Present, sir.
Yashang, यशांग यशांग अभी ज्वाइन किया है सर? यशांग
नहीं सर, मैं अभी मतलब ज्वाइन किया ही था, अभी बीच में नेटवर्क गया तो मैं 1 मिनट के लिए बाहर गया था.
वो तो पता चल जाएगा, यहाँ टाइमर लगा हुआ है, इसमें पूरी क्लास का लिस्ट डाउनलोड हो जाता है कब से कब तक आप थे यहाँ पर.
कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं,
हैं?
देख लीजिएगा. नहीं सर,
ओके,
मैं गया नहीं था, 1 मिनट के
दीपेन.
लिए गया बस.
Yes, sir.
ओके दीपेन. तुषार,
Present, sir.
यश, यश ठाकुर,
Present.
आदित्य, आदित्य झा,
Present, sir.
तुषार
Present,
सिन्हा,
sir.
तुषार,
Present, sir.
निकिता कुकड़,
Present, sir.
गिरीश, 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 Atik. Atik was not there for few lectures. Mohammed, Mohammed Yasir, Jaideep, okay.